Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. I should put some video up of my, actually a few pictures of my weekend activities. I was at ground zero up at the 50-something floor of a hotel looking out over Brooklyn and the whole World Trade Center, Freedom Building, the whole shooting match. I got some pictures on my phone. I should show them to you guys. It's kind of interesting, just the way everything's laid out. Boy, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people down there. Very crowded. So anyway, let's put a few minutes into the Baja Warrior. I took a look at the number and decoded it, and it turns out it's an 2005, which I think makes this one of the old ones. And first thing I did is I didn't mess with the gas tank. I just turned on the gas here on the carburetor and the choke, gave it a couple of pulls. I got nothing, so I opened the choke, and this air box was sitting on it. So I sprayed in the holes here, and I got a couple of pops and all that, which is good. I checked the oil. Actually, I checked the oil first, and the oil has quite a bit of gas in it. So before I really go too far with this rig, I am going to have to change the oil out. Now, just to remind you guys, normally the way these look, the gas tank is sitting right here, and this is fake. What the guy did is he put, I don't know if that's a Sportster gas tank or whatever, on it. He put a real Harley gas tank on this rig. I mean, along with the saddle bars, sissy bar, and teddy bear. And then he gave it a kitty spray paint job. That's where you basically take out a can of black spray paint and paint everything and anything. So, got the kitty spray paint job, and here it is. Now it's time to make it run. He unfortunately kind of made a big mistake. He used standard automotive braided fuel line. That's what this is. And I think you can see the hash mark pattern here. Well, the good thing about this fuel line is it takes a lot of pressure. The bad thing about this fuel line is it doesn't like to make the turns. And making the turns to get underneath all this carburetor linkage and then down to where you put gas to the carburetor is tough on it. And let me show you what happens. Right now it is, nope, that's on. I'm going to turn it off on the carburetor, and I'm going to turn it on here, and you're going to see it start to get a little wet right there, because even though you tighten the hell out of that clamp, there's a bend there, and it doesn't really want to make the turn. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is the carburetor has, at least the first time, yep, there it goes. Drippy problems. I guess what I would call it is it's kind of like a true Harley from 1977, where they used to like to mark their territory. So let's turn this off again. Now what I need to do is do better with this fuel routing. The non-braided gas line, the gas line that's theoretically belongs on this bike, doesn't have the braiding go through it. But you have to be careful as you route it. And first of all, so you don't hang up your governor or throttle or anything and end up taking a full speed ride of your life. That's your first problem. Your second problem is you got to be careful that you don't get it too hot from the engine, at which time you end up with your secondary problem that the gas line melts. You dump gas all over the engine and you're just waiting for a spark, and then look what's sitting right here, boys. So, fire, manhood. Roasted manhood, not a good idea. So one really has to pay attention to all that. And I'm kind of looking at this as I'm talking to you, kind of grinding through my head how to deal with it. Now, I don't know what year they started to import these bikes. This one looks older than mine. The frame looks like it's a little better made, a little thicker, and all that. I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit. Because the tires look newer than, 12 years old? Because they're not cracked or anything, which you would figure they would be from being outside. But the rims do have some ugly rust on them. I'm not sure. I occasionally see the guy around at other flea markets, so I could get more information on this bike at that point. Air cleaners for you guys who actually have a little more experience. This is the air cleaner that I pulled off of it, and it's kind of this piece here would go right there, and then this is kind of the bottom piece, and then it's stuffed with foam. 1, 2, 3. Then they kind of put this cover on top of it to smash it all down, and then of course you should drill holes in it. So one of my subscribers told me that this is actually the right engine for it, the Jing Dong. So that's a good thing. Also this wiring gig, I mean, I don't know what the heck this guy was up to here. And then the lean back Harley look. I guess you put your feet up here instead of down there. I don't know if this is staying or leaving. I might give it a ride. The bike already does have kind of, he's kind of got the gas tank in the way. It's able to go just a little bit more. So I also have to ride it to see if he didn't. I don't think he took up too much of the steering with the gas tank. So I mean, that's another thing that's a little bizarre. I think this was adult owned. I really don't see any damage to it other than the hop-up damage, obviously the spray painting, but like there's no bending. The handlebars aren't bent, the headlight isn't bent, right? The fenders are nice and straight. So I mean, this is a tad off, but this is one of those lift up things. He did a lot of interesting stuff. I didn't spend a lot of time talking to him about the bike because there were vultures all over the place, and I wanted to get the deal closed and I wanted to get money in his hand, because once again, I have seen this guy around, and I knew once he took my money the deal would be closed and I didn't have to worry about him playing the game of, oh, somebody offered me 50 more bucks, here's your money back, I took the extra coin, right? He wasn't that kind of guy. He was, I've seen him at markets, in car shows and all. I didn't know him, and I still don't know him, but just seeing him around, I think it's better. I think he's a guy of good conscience. Let's put it this way. So I did want to get the deal closed, though. One of the other things he had that I missed, he had a Rupp Roadster frame and the back clutch, and there was a motor sitting on the ground. I don't know if it went to it or, because, you know, the second I looked at it, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's old." And I'm like, oh, because, you know, I don't need to tell you guys what Rupps are worth. A Rupp that has been in a flood and a fire and shot out of a cannon and abused by every kid my side of the Mississippi and the other side of the Mississippi. Let's throw in Canada and Mexico. They're still worth money. All it has to do is look like a Rupp Roadster and it's worth coin. Anyway, I gotta stop talking. I should probably just start right on top and, well, I guess I'm going to get the carburetor the heck off of there, figure out what its big problem is, why the float is sticking. I could show you guys that if you're interested. Just quickly, I'm going to pull the carb, but to take off the carb, all you do is take these two off, 10 millimeters. This piece of plastic slides off. You undo the linkage, take off the gas line, the carb slides right off, flip it over, and you could get right on to the inside. You want to pay attention to where the hookups are for the carburetor. I mean, he still has the governor on this and all. There's actually two of these that go to the carburetor. Hard to see from here, but one is that guy, and the other is the spring. So not all that hard, you just got to pay attention. And a lot of times you can tell where things go because the holes are worn a little bit, and you can kind of tell from that. So anyway, I'm going to start by dropping the carb. We'll see what it looks like from there. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and comment. I would like to thank you all for watching and commenting, subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.